We are going to be looking at some disturbing videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. This video was originally an upload to Minutes of Horror today, but I had to delete the video and re-upload it here because for whatever reason, once again, I'm having issues with the comment section in that video and replying to comments. If you are not aware, I did do a breakdown on the Pope passing away on my other channel, Seconds of Horror, where the Pope passed away on the day in Roman mythology where Romulus and Remus had founded Rome in 753 BC. News and media, they keep saying that he passed away on Easter Monday, but like I said in that other video, that Monday also had another meaning, especially to those in Rome and those who practice certain rituals. But it is what it is. I will go ahead and link that video below. But on to today's first segment, something caught my attention about the moon, and for quite some time, I have been talking about this on this channel, and a lot of you have been noticing this as well, that something is not right about the moon. There happens to be all these different special moons lately. The moon sometimes appears on the wrong side of the sky at hours when it should appear on the other side of the sky. There are people that notice how the moon looks rather bizarre sometimes. There are some people, and I actually did a video on this not too long ago, that witnessed this black thing going across the moon. Not just one person, but multiple people. So, needless to say, there are just some odd things going on with the moon. But did you know on April 25th, the moon will appear like a smiley face in the skies? And I'm not talking about the Cheshire moon, where the crescent moon appears upside down. No, apparently there will be a planetary alignment where Saturn and Venus will be right next to the moon, giving it the appearance that the moon has two eyes. So it is going to look like a smiley face. Apparently it's going to look something like this. There are some news and media websites that are over-exaggerating what it will look like this, but no, it's supposed to look something like this. This one is pretty odd because news, media, scientists, and researchers, they are stating that something like this is rare, making you believe that something like this has happened before, when in actuality, it has not. But here's the weird part. I cannot find anything on the internet saying that something like this has happened before. Matter of fact, going back to 2020 and 2016, there were rumors circulating on social media like Facebook, Instagram, and so forth, how there would be a smiley face in the skies, in the night skies. But this same news, media, scientists, and researchers, they would come out and debunk these claims, saying that this was only a hoax, something like this would never happen. For example, take this article here from Forbes back on May 1st, 2020. It is titled, "No, there won't be a smiley face in the night sky in May, but something else may make you happy." And it goes on to say that, are the stars aligning to form a celestial smiley face that will look down on a troubled Earth? No, they are not. For some reason, a story about Venus, Jupiter, and a crescent moon aligning to form a smiley face is doing rounds on the internet. The article goes on to say that, and they're talking about these rumors on social media, it's claimed that on May 16th, 2020, Venus, Jupiter, and a crescent moon will align and look like a smiling face looking down on us. That it's quite a rare astronomical phenomenon, and that it's called an occultation. But the article goes on to say, sadly, this is fake news in a very literal sense. We know this because Venus, Jupiter, and the moon will be in entirely different parts of the night sky on May 16th, 2020. It also did not happen in 2008. The article continues to debunk these claims, saying that and making sure that we are aware that this is just a hoax, and so are other news articles. So that's all I can find on this smiley face celestial event, is that there are rumors being spread on social media platforms and news and media. They are debunking the claim, saying it never happened. But now it's in reverse. News, media, scientists, and researchers, like I said, are saying this will actually happen on April 25th. For whatever reason, it is no longer a hoax. But if you look at some ancient Mesopotamia tablets, you can see something that looks very similar to this. You can see what looks like the moon appearing like a mouth, and you can see two planets next to it which appear like eyes. This could represent Saturn and Venus once again, with the moon appearing to look like a mouth, but this time it looks more like a frown as opposed to a smiley face. On both sides of this person on this tablet, you can see what looks like to be two caduceus, or what appears to be them anyway, or an 8 and an 8, which is also interesting given the fact that yesterday we were hearing a couple of references to the number 88, Klaus Schwab saying he's stepping down in his 88th year from the World Economic Forum, and of course the Pope passing away at 88. Now they are saying this rare celestial event is called a triple conjunction, which has happened, but never to the point that the moon has ever appeared to look like a smiley face in the skies. This celestial event will happen at a very odd time. It'll happen at 5:30 in the morning, and it'll only last for about an hour, so I doubt many of us will witness this smiley face event. What is even more bizarre is the timing that we're getting something like this only a few days after the Pope had passed away. There are just so many bizarre things currently taking place, and if you see my previous video on Seconds of Horror, I spoke about all these strange events that take place in the month of April. And I don't know why, but as soon as I read this news about Venus, Saturn, and the moon making the smiley face, I instantly thought of the 2025 Economist magazine cover. Because on the cover, I remember people pointing out that it looks like you can see what appears to be a face. You can see two eyes, you can see a nose, and you can see a mouth that looks like it's smiling. And the whole thing looks like a circular face, but at the very top sits Saturn. It probably has no correlation with one another, but I don't know why that instantly popped up in my mind. Who knows what's going to happen after this event takes place, or if this is going to be a sign of things to come, who really knows. All I know is this is just weird, and with the timing of everything currently taking place, this is even more bizarre. Now look, just because it's unusual and bizarre and it's falling on some very strange timing, does not mean something like this is evil either or bad. It could be something good. It could be a sign of good things to come. You never know. Just because something is strange doesn't necessarily make it evil or bad. But as I said in my last video, everything seems like one giant ritual, things that were currently taking place in April. And I also do not like the fact that these two planets, Saturn and Venus, and I am diving more into a strange rabbit hole here, but I don't like the fact that these two planets are associated with Satan and Lucifer. Lucifer being associated with Venus and Satan being associated with Saturn. These are the two planets forming the smiley face looking down at Earth. Venus being known as the morning star or the evening star, and of course in biblical context, Lucifer was the morning star. And of course we have Saturnalia, Saturn worship, and the black cube worship of Saturn, which has connections to Apollo, Abaddon, and ultimately many believe connections to Satan. What should also be rather interesting to note is that this will happen during the 13 days of Baal worship starting on April 19th. This 13-day period starting on April 19th for worshippers of Baal is known as the blood sacrifice to the beast, which is interesting. Again, like I pointed out in my previous video, there are so many tragic events that happen in the month of April. This period culminates in Beltane, the major festival of the worship of Baal, or as it's known in the Western world, May Day. This time period of the blood sacrifice was so significant that after the pagans, the Romans celebrated a festival of fertility called Forticidia on the same dates, beginning April 15th and ending April 19th with the festival of Cerealia. I think I'm pronouncing this correctly, which I know I keep referencing my previous video, but it's very interesting how the Romans celebrated this festival of fertility and ending it on April 19th, the same day that this festival to Baal will begin, because I said in that previous video that had to do with the Pope passing away, it was nothing more than a fertility ritual. Everything we're seeing in the month of April, including the 6 women going to supposedly space in that penis-shaped rocket and coming out of an egg, and all this news about eggs and the plane hitting the rabbit, and again, even with the Pope passing away, and he's passing away on the day of Romulus and Remus. Romulus and Remus are indirectly connected to fertility. This all is one big fertility ritual. And now on April 19th, we're coming to the worship of Baal for 13 days, and we're going to have this smiley face in the skies connected to Venus and Saturn. When it comes to those 6 women who supposedly, quote unquote, supposedly went to space, on their logo, we see the Baphomet, but the Baphomet is staring at the morning star, which is supposed to be either Lucifer or Venus. Maybe I'll go ahead and do a much deeper dive on this, because there seems to be so much that keeps connecting First, I thought this was just a bizarre celestial event, but the more you go down into this, you just keep digging more and more, especially when certain dates connect and align, and we're seeing all these other events taking place. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.